Okie doke, welcome to the next edition of class. You should be in, well, at least on your way to getting a method ready and getting ready first week of school to take the data that is needed for your project. This week we'll be doing data collection and analysis, and we will also be doing this section 2.3 as well as section 2.4 next week. I am currently eating a cookie right now, so I will see it. Take a look right here. Delicious. All right, back to it. I'll be giving you updates on the cookie as we go along. So we are in section 2.3, and let's see if I can get this go. Okay, there we go. And we're going to be talking about the real zeros and polynomial functions. You'll notice that my pen works a lot better on this computer. So, all good things happen for a reason. Alright, so we have this function right here, and suppose this function is equal to f of x equals 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 16x minus 4. And you can tell that, we have a possible value of x crosses here at 2. So we might assume that through our graph we can see that 2, 0 is going to be one of the answers to our polynomial here. Now 2, 0 can be written as x minus 2, correct? Because x minus 2 would indicate that if you plug in 2 for x, we get a 0 value. And this actually does go into our polynomial here because it is a real 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this value right here and divide it by x minus 2. Okay? And that from there, we will be able to figure out the factor of this particular graph. Hold on a second. Hello? What size shirt does Joe wear? Joe Bags. I would think he wears a medium. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, I'm doing a video right now, so. Yeah, I'm still at school doing a video, so. You're gonna be on the video. What? I'm recording right now. Bye. Sorry about that. The old wonderful wife. Alright, so we're going to divide x minus 2 into this polynomial. So, x minus 2 dividing 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 16x minus 4. Okay? So, we're going to divide this and figure out what are the values. So we have to think about what we could multiply x minus 2 to, I don't know, have a nice little battle. And it needs to be the same exponent value here. So we need to multiply this by x squared. So currently x squared, and it needs to have a 6 there. So let's multiply it by 6x squared. And we're going to multiply both of these. 6x squared. So we end up with 6x cubed. And 6 12, so we get negative 12x squared. Alright? And how many times does this go in 6x squared times? So we put 6x squared right above. Make sure you line these up properly, otherwise you're going to get some problems. Alright, so we subtract these. These cancel, and we end up getting negative 19 plus 12 is going to be 987, so 7x squared plus 16x minus 4. We have to think of another number that's going to multiply this. I would think it would be 7x. So we multiply it by 7x. Multiply this one by 7x, we get 7x squared plus 7x times negative 2 is going to be negative 14. Negative 14x. Alright? Oh, excuse me, I made a mistake. This should be a negative, so we're going to multiply it by a negative 7x. Let me get the old eraser out. Negative 7 here. Sorry about that. Thought it didn't look right. That would make this right here a positive. Erase it. And this would also be a negative. So we multiply this by negative 7x and this one by negative 7x. Subtract down. These cancel. We end up with 16x minus 14x, which is 2x minus 4. So how many times does this need to be, what does this need to be multiplied to compensate that? Well, it would be 2. X minus 2. And what happens is we get 2x minus 4. And our remainder is 0. So this went in 2 times, so we're going to do plus 2. Okay? So we just divided it, which means that if we multiply these two together, we get an actual value of our polynomial. So we now have, this is our new factored polynomial. And we end up with x minus 2, and we end up with 6x squared minus 7x plus 2. Alright, so we have one root here. We still are missing this root, but if you look, that does factor quite nicely. Okay? So we have to think of numbers that go into 12 that also add up to be negative 7. Turns out we have, I like to do factor by grouping, but whatever. It turns out, whatever way you do it's fine. You get 2x minus 1 and 3x minus 2. So now we have our 3 roots. So x equals 2, comma, looks like we have negative or positive 1/2. And our last one is 2/3. So those are our real roots. Alright. Pause it if you need me to, or you need some more, whatever. Uh-oh. Come on. Come on. Come on now. You can do it. Don't crash on me. No, don't crash. Don't crash. Go to the next slide. Come on. Escape. Oh, man. Throw. Hopefully this will not be a pill, but who knows. Let's make this another color. How about blue? Okay. So we want to divide this. So we have to write it out. X plus 1 dividing x squared plus 3x plus Alright, so how many times does x, or what does this need to be multiplied to start with our first two values? I would think that if we multiply it by x, then that would work. So we multiply it by x, and we get x squared plus x. We're going to subtract. Remember, I'm multiplying right here, and what I get is right there. And that's been multiplied by x. Maybe a little dot will do a little better. Multiply by x, cancel these two out. We end up getting 2x plus 5. And so we multiply everything by 2. So now it's 2 here. And multiply by 2, we get 2x. And we get plus 2. So we have a remainder of 3. Now here's the tricky thing. There's two ways to write this out. Okay, first off, the original thing. If we think about this, it is this value divided by this. So let's write that out. We have x squared plus 3x plus 5 divided by x plus 1. And that equals, it equals what we have, what we found out here, x plus 2, but it also equals our remainder, and essentially it is still being divided by this. So we end up with 3, this is our remainder, over what we divided, and we divided x plus 1. Okay? Okay, so that's one way of simplifying it out. But what this is saying is that if you want to, we can keep going and keep looking at it. But if we were to simplify this, we would multiply everything by x plus 1. X plus 1 here, this whole thing by x plus 1, and this whole thing by x plus 1. And it turns out that our finished product would be x squared plus 3x plus 5 equals x plus 1 times x plus 2, and now plus 3. Okay, so this is also our remainder. Alright, so these are two ways of writing it, and we're going to use both of those ways. Alright, so we have those answers. We don't have roots then if we have it in this form, because if you think that 1 or negative 1 is an answer, well, it's negative 1 plus 3. Okay, so what you would have to do is set this equal to 3 and then solve. So if you plugged a 2 in, or a negative 4 in here, then, yeah, well, it's tricky. We don't find the zeros, unfortunately, but we do find the values, or do find a simplified version. Alright, so this goes into what we call the division algorithm. And usually this is the first time in math you see the word algorithm, because it's pretty much always the same all the time. Well, it implies these two things. Alright, this is the division algorithm. Okay? We have some sort of f of x, and let me make sure I write this up at top. We have f of x, whoops, and d of x are polynomials. Oop, erase that. There was only a shortcut. So they are polynomials. Of course, they can't equal 0. And d is usually less than or equal to the degree of f. So d of x degree is less than or equal to the f of x degree. Those are the two things that fall into place. So we have these two values, and what happens is that each of these represents something. This is the dividend, okay? This is the dividend here. So this is what is being divided. Oops, divided. Excuse me, divided. Okay? This is what is dividing. This is your quotient. Okay? This is your what happens. So your end product and then of course this is the remainder and this is leftovers. Kind of like Thanksgiving. Alright, so it could also be written as something else, but what that looks like is f of x over d of x equals, because we're dividing it, equals our quotient. So this is quotient plus our remainder over d of x. And if you notice, this is very similar. This format right here is very similar to what we have right here. Okay, there's two different things. This is your f of x over d of x, your quotient, your answer, your remainder, and then your d of x again, right down here. So if you want to mull around on that one, there you go. All right, let's take a look at some examples here, and then that's it. And maybe I'll post another video about synthetic division next. Probably not for another few days. So we're dividing these two, okay? Divide. We divide these two. So let's go ahead and do this. We have x minus 1. Now, all of a sudden, things start looking a little bit funny. Okay, minus 1. But what about all the stuff in between? Because we will need that in there. Well, if you recall, everything that's in here, in this section, is 0 times x squared plus 0 times x. That's what's in between. So let's go ahead and write that out. We have plus 0x squared plus 0x now minus 1. First thing we need to multiply by, we need to multiply by x squared. So we have x squared right here. And we end up with x cubed minus x squared. And we're going to go ahead and subtract down. These cancel. And this turns into just x squared. Bring everything else down. Next thing, looks like we have to multiply by x now. So we have x squared minus x. Subtract that. Ends up with just x minus 1. And x minus 1 looks like it goes in evenly just once. Multiply it by 1. And we get x minus 1. Don't put 0 right here, or don't leave it. Make sure you know that you multiply it by 1. And if you multiply it by 1, fantastic. Okay, and you get this value. So it turns out that we get x cubed minus 1 equals x minus 1 times x squared plus x plus 1. Okay? Excuse me. You could also write it where we divide this out. You could write it like x cubed minus 1 over x minus 1 equals x squared plus x plus 1. There's no remainder, so that would be 0 over whatever's here. These are our two ways of writing it out. The pen works so much better over here. All right, let's do it again. A much bigger one, though. So, we do x squared plus 2x minus 3 dividing 2x 2x to the fourth plus 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 2. Alright, so let's start it out. We need to multiply this by something. We need to cancel this out. So the first thing we need, I kind of made it tight here, I'll write it up there. It looks like we need to start it out by 2x squared. 2x squared, that would be 2x to the fourth. 2x squared plus 2x, or sorry, multiplied by 2x, that's going to be 4x cubed. Multiply this, we end up getting negative 6x squared. We can't have anything else, so we just deal with these three things. Draw your line, subtract them down. These cancel, and this turns into x squared plus 2x minus 2. So it looks like our leading coefficients are going to cancel. This should be 3x, excuse me. 3x there. Our leading coefficients cancel, so we only multiply it by 1, so we say plus 1. So we have x squared plus 2x minus 3. Subtract down, these cancel. This gets x, and this turns into a positive 1. And that's our remainder. So, we have our answer, we have another answer, or excuse me, we have our quotient, we have our divisor, we have our dividend, and we have our remainder. So 2 ways of writing it. First one, we write it as, oh, this is long, okay, 2x to the fourth plus 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 2 over x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals our answer, which is 2x squared plus 1 plus our remainder divided by this. X plus 1 over x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, we have 2x to the fourth plus 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals x squared plus 3x, nope, that's not right, it should be 2x. (2x minus 3 times 2x squared plus 1 plus x plus 1. So we have our two things factored out. Alright, so that's going to be it for this time. If you wanted to jump into some homework, the long division section, obviously this section is kind of long. So let's go ahead and do, I think I have another page, yes. So homework, this will be homework number 1. That is going to be 7 through 18 on page 170, 7 through 18 all. There it is. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can always email me. I'll be sending you a text in just a little bit. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you do this, and I might be posting another video. I'm not sure yet. But keep that in mind if I do post another video. If I don't, then I'll probably want to do synthetic division in class, and we'll be going over that. And it should be a little bit nicer process than long division, but make sure you do know long division. That is important to do. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Here's my picture. Here's the last picture of my cookie. Ooh, yum. And then here's one more. Yeah, it It was really good. Goodbye.